Easier Habits Live. I'm Alec.
And I am Meg.
And what are we doing today?
What are we doing today? What?
So, we launched a first 5-day challenge that was interrupted by health issues. And I think we're just trying to figure out, like, what's next.
Yeah, basically. So, yeah, and there's a lot of things going on in my brain right now, partially because it's spring break and so our kids are home, and partially because I'm trying to figure out where the best use of my time is at the moment. And so with the 5-day challenge, I think one of the things that I for sure noticed was just the difficulty of staying on top of things, especially when there's, not just the health issues, but the kind of blocks of, I don't want to do this, or, I have to sell, or there's just that pressure. I keep sliding around. And so if I can get the content put together so that I can just have it automated and offer that as something that people will get a video and their assignments and everything like that. Again, I still want to make sure that I have the feedback first. So I'm finishing it up with those people who had originally done the stuff. Sorry, my brain is still waking up. Who had been keeping up with me on that. So I'm going to get their feedback. Today's day 5 for them. So huzzah. I haven't been posting it to the main thing because I figure, all right, if this is something that I want to have be a little bit, not proprietary, but something that's a lead magnet, as in join my email list, get a free 5-day challenge. I don't want it just to be out there. And since most people weren't really engaging with it anyway, I figured I'll just focus on those people who have been doing it. So I'll finish that up today, which is awesome. And then probably want to reshoot those videos. I don't think I'm going to want the live versions of that, which then I have to, kind of recognize that there's going to be a bit of a block there that, I'm going to have to reshoot them and edit them and, all of that. But then also recognizing that they don't have to be perfect. It's okay. Good enough, right, is fine for our purposes here. It's not like it needs to be professional quality. So I've got that I'm working on. And then the other side of that is this partner that I've been doing some things with, and she's, helping me find clients, and I am helping her with content and things like that. And so I started a project over the weekend to be able to help her with that. And it's been really fun because it's the stuff that I really like to dive deeply into. It might seem super nerdy to most people, but I went through and there's 44 different sounds in the English language, in American English, 15 of which are vowels and the other ones are consonant sounds. But even that is not quite enough, especially coming from the Japanese perspective, where everything is a combination of consonants and vowels, basically. And so I made a matrix of every single blend and combination of sounds that are possible in the English language, and I'm finding not finding it, I'm putting in example words for all of those, which again seems super dorky, but it's so me and I love it so much. And so I was able to focus on that for 4 hours yesterday doing, sound files and working on the matrix and, thinking through the different example words, because what we're going to create is a thing where they can listen to them side by side. So bland, brand, right? They sound very similar. Or bland, brand, blonde, right? Things like that. And so that's been really fun. And it's interesting to see, I know I'm talking a lot right now, but it's interesting to see the reaction of my brain to these different aspects of work, right? The 5-day challenge, seems like super awesome and great, and it's hard for me, whereas this, we'll see what happens with it, but it's super fun.
I can physically see the difference in terms of stress when you're talking about like 5-day challenge stuff versus your excitement of talking about this. And
how do I make that fun part monetizable?
Yeah. Well, and that's like, you pretty much can only do that kind of thing, like having only the fun part monetizable working for somebody else. And so like the idea is and even in that, right, they're selling because you basically have to sell somebody on the idea that it's worth paying you full time to do that.
True.
And so like selling always enters into the equation.
Yeah. Well, and it's different in some respects for me, though, partially because this person I've been working with, I don't know if she's okay with me saying her name, so I'm not going to quite yet. But if, like, one, she likes selling. Like, for her, that's specific, that's a great thing. And we've known each other for a very long time. We met originally in 2007. So, gosh, that was a long time ago. In Kyoto, actually. But, and the stuff that we do lines up so perfectly well. So for me, like, selling myself to a collaborator is different than selling myself to a client.
Well, and it's also not selling yourself because you're just doing stuff with them. You're not necessarily, like, you're hoping that she brings in money and you somehow get paid, but she's not paying you.
Well, that's true. But she has paid me for a different thing that we're going to be doing. So it's, there is that ambiguity. So that's actually a good reframe for me. So how can I, independent of her, just in case, find ways to monetize this thing? And so thinking about that, which I'm thinking about courses that I could do, or like,
and you could brand something as accent reduction to, Japanese business development people or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and actually, yesterday on Clubhouse, I was just like, listening to different rooms while I was working on this. And I found one where it was a very small group of these Japanese businessmen, not Global Kyokoku, just a different group, who they've got like a textbook that they read for 10 minutes, and then they find something that's difficult as far as like pronunciation or a phrase or something like that. And so I was like, oh, I'll listen to that and see what they're, and then of course, like, I can't help but comment. So they bring me up and I'm telling them, like, and one of them said it at one point, I have struggled with this thing for 30 years. And in 2 seconds, you just like, oh my gosh, I get it. It was great day, right? The ways that we pause kind of at that T without saying it. There's a really simple way to explain that in Japanese. And so I did, and they were like, great day. Oh my gosh, I got it. As opposed to great day or gray day or something like that. I was like, yes, awesome. So yeah, maybe I can message one of them and ask them as far as like, because a lot of the pronunciation stuff that I'm working on with this matrix is exactly that.
Sure, you could invite them to do that.
So
I mean, really what you're missing there is like 2 sentences like about, hey, I'm Meg, I do this for a living. If you want to know more, you can find me at this website or check out this free course.
Yes.
That's like, if you could be comfortable doing that, then like that's all the selling you ever need to do. Okay. Really. But I think what I wanted to zoom out and just like point on like the macro like the macro patterns, I think, that are sometimes helpful to see in the aggregate. For sure. Is so like normally when you're creating a product, you want to do a lot of iterations in person so that you get all, like, you squeeze all the feedback you can out of that before you automate it, right? So you're automating it with the best that you know. That doesn't mean that you can't, and people don't sometimes launch an automated solution first and try and tweak it until it works and run feedback on that. But like running an automated solution cuts out a lot of feedback, so the process is inherently going to be slower if you rush to automate.
Okay.
And so one of the things that's happening right here is because your discomfort with the marketing, the sales side of things, even though, again, this is 90% a free course that you're offering to people, right? Like you're mentioning that they can buy stuff from you, but you're actually not even selling anything in this course. But like, even so, this discomfort with marketing and selling is pushing you to automate faster. Right? And kind of skip that.
Because I don't want to have to do... Oh, that's interesting.
And so, it's not... And again, I'm not saying, like, you can't possibly succeed that way, but, like, it's an avenue where it's, like, this way is quicker to getting feedback and to perfecting your product, and you're choosing this other one because it's more comfortable.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That tracks.
And that's kind of, like, the detours. Like, there's no shortcut to success, but a lot of times... You know what we do, and self-included, is that we if we're not paying attention to what we're doing and prioritizing, we intentionally take detour, or we by default take detours to what's comfortable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and I think it's probably part and parcel with your hyper focus on the content thing, right? Is like. You have been, you know, in a zone where you're confronting your discomfort regularly.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's nice to do something that's not hard.
And so retreating into something with zero discomfort, right? You know, your brain latches onto that, and so like there are the ways in which this discomfort with marketing is starting to drive decisions and where you put your time.
Yeah. That's a really good insight. Thank you. And the part that I'm keying in on there is, again, like, what is the outcome of this thing? It's the fact that I might put out something that is less good than if I were to, you know, be more like, hey guys, I'm, you know, doing a thing. I need feedback to make it the best thing that it can be, right? And that right there, I'm like, that I can do. That I can totally do. And I can, you know, slip in like, hey, this is a thing that I'm, you know, I do and I sell and I'm going to be selling and everything like that. But especially at the beginning, that I think is probably, not probably, that for me right now, it sounds like the best way to move forward is, with both of these, honestly, like saying I'm working on these materials, I need people to test them and everything like that, as opposed to just saying, hey, because I think that's one of the differences when I was like asking people about this 5-day challenge. I think I mentioned something like, you know, oh yeah, and, you know, just, you know, let me know how it goes or whatever, but more like, as opposed, sorry, I'm like, I don't know what the word is right now, but if I were to upfront say, hey, I need feedback on this thing so that I can make it better, then that, I think, sounds like the best way to move forward, as opposed to like, I have this thing that can help you. I need help. Please help me with this thing. Yeah. Where it will also help them. I'm not asking them for money, and it's a win-win. Yeah.
So you definitely should, again, in any instance where you're providing something free, tell people who you are and where they can get more, right?
Yes.
So like that needs to become a habit in any case. But it seems like what would help you focus the most, or be the most beneficial even, that might be a helpful reframe, is like, even the end destination of this is a free course.
Yeah.
So you can ask people not only to help you, but help you develop a free course that is going to help other Japanese people as well.
Okay.
right?
Yep, that
and
right
you can
there.
enlist them in the mission,
Yeah.
right, of helping other people. And like, yes, of course, you just take it, it's something to work on, like taking it for granted that you will always tell them who you are and where they can find you if they want to pay you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Like that is like a separate skill, right? That should be engaged generally, but like the focus of this project or the focus of the project right now is making it the best free course that you can.
Yeah. I like that. I think that's really good. And with that, that's even something that I feel like I could talk about in Global Kyokoku because it's not about selling at all. It's about helping people in Japan, and that's exactly what we do, and things like that. So,
and anyone in Global Kyokoku could take this free course at any time. Now, it's not unreasonable, again, for you to let people know in the free course where to find your paid services, but like that's all you need to do. You don't need it's just letting them know. And we know from past experience, again, this is like come back to this, that like people were actually asking you if they could pay you when they didn't know that, right? So like this is a thing some people want to know legitimately.
Yep.
And so if you don't tell that, you're not letting those people who want to know it find out.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I love that. Well, and I'm talking in the main room on the 28th, 27th, 28th. So maybe if I can have the people that I've been doing this with give me their feedback so that I can update it by then, and then say, have it, this is the beta test, not the alpha test anymore, but, anyone who wants to take it for free, please, give me feedback and let me know. And I'd love to, see what you end up making as part of that room thing.
Right.
And then that would be awesome.
Right. And you can ask that group of business people if that's something that interests them, right? Because you're helping develop a free course for people who want to not only study English, but use it.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. And that actually, seems like a really, really good value proposition.
Awesome. And so like stepping back, if you're having, if you're realizing that there's something you're avoiding that's kind of causing you to make different decisions or like spend your time in a different way, I think one very helpful way of reframing all of this is I'm blanking on it, from instructional psychology and technology. Zone of proximal development is one of my favorite concepts. There we go. It's the zone of proximal development, and the idea is like if you could think of some concentric circles, the innermost circle is where you're 100% comfortable, but you're not learning anything. And then the outermost circle is where something is so far beyond your ability to do it that you're just completely unproductive and you really can't learn anything from trying that. You'll just be overwhelmed, stressed, etc. But in between those is the zone of proximal development where with a little help, with a little discomfort, you can learn something new and acquire new skills. And so where you want to be spending your time is not a place where you're 100% comfortable, or not all your time, right? Where you want to try and spend most of your time. And it's not in a place where you're so overwhelmed you don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
But it's in a, you want to spend a lot of your time in a place that just feels a little bit uncomfortable in the sense of like in the pursuit of your goals.
Yeah.
Right? It's not discomfort for discomfort's sake, but you want to go to a place where if you recognize like I have a challenge with marketing, then what is the next small step? And the reframe, I think, is helping us reclaim some of this territory from like overwhelming and just so unpleasant I can't do it. But the question, it really is like, all right, what's this small step for marketing?
Yeah.
And, I wonder if it's just practicing an intro. Like, this is who I am, this is what I do for a living, and here's where to find me.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah, and I think part of it, too, is I've just been spending too much time at that outermost circle, and it's just been tiring me out. And so finding ways to bring it back a little bit, but not too far.
Yeah.
Right? And so, yeah, practicing that intro, and again, like reframing even the stuff that I've been doing, not as marketing, although it is marketing, but more as it's the process of developing a better product that will end up helping more people, and being in that testing phase, like that for me feels awesome. So yeah. And then in that, implementing that introduction that I've been practicing. So today, practice that introduction, film that introduction, watch it.
Dog food it.
Oh, dog food it. We can do this. I can do this. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, that could be a day in your 5-day challenge of dealing with the awkwardness of selling yourself.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
Who knows? Or another piece of content later on. You could speak to that with experience.
Yes. Oh, so much experience. So much experience.
So, all right. Well, thank you for watching. I would love to hear questions or comments, your own experiences, if there's something that you're struggling with and you're noticing that it's changing your decisions, where you're spending your time, etc. I'd love to hear that in comments down below. You can always join us live and ask questions. It's always exciting when that happens. And of course, like and subscribe if this is helpful. And until next time, make big changes one small habit at a time.